Good hit. Good hit. Hey guys, Abner, Miranda here. Welcome out to the range. Before we get any deeper into this video, I wanted to tell you guys what this drill is that you're seeing. It's called the church drill. And the way it works is you're at 10 yards. The corner of this barrier is exactly 10 yards. And the way it works is it's simulating you being at church. You're standing and talking to some friends in this direction. And there's a gunshot. The gunshot is, of course, the beep of the chronograph. When it sounds, you rotate, you find your shot, take your shot, do your follow through, look for other threats, and then recover to the holster. The key to this drill is, well, not so much the key, an important facet of this drill is the recovery to the holster. And the reason for that is, in an active killer situation, when you have successfully actually managed to drop the bad guy and he's down and you've looked for other threats, and I guess I would explain what this is about too. Well, let me finish the thought. And you've looked for other threats. The last thing you want to be is the guy who is now standing with whoever he managed to damage or kill, plus the mess that he now has created because you shot him, and you're the last guy standing. Shots have been fired, people are bloodied, and you're holding a firearm, and the good guys, or in my case at my church, we actually have police officers that we pay to be in the sanctuary, and they come racing around the corner, and there you are standing there with a firearm. You don't want to be that guy because you could accidentally get shot, most especially if your ears are ringing and you hear something and you rotate and the police officer rightfully perceives the threat. Because guess what? When I was a cop, if someone turned like this in my direction still holding a firearm after I'd issued a command, and I want to clarify this, with the training that I had at the time, I probably would have fired a round at that guy. Of course, then again, when I was a cop, I sucked at shooting. I was nowhere near as good as I am now, so I probably would have missed. Anyways, okay, so forgot the point that I was making. So, oh yeah, the clearing move. I got this from Dave Spalding, and everything that I pick up from instructors, I analyze. Does that work for me? Does it make sense for me? This makes sense. And what it is, when you fire, let me see if I can actually swing that back. Yeah, that's right, suck it! When you fire the round, drop the bad guy, and you've decided he's not getting back up again, you retract the firearm and you rotate and you're looking for other threats. And the reason that you're doing this is this hand. It can be this, it can be this, it can be this, although I would prefer to have it open because you want a palm heel strike rather than punch. Palm heel striking saves your hand from broken fingers. That's what that's about. So you're rotating. You'll notice my muzzle is not pointing at any part of my body, nor is it pointing at you or anybody else. It's pointing right out in front of me. I have full 360 peripheral vision, and the reason I'm using this is most churches have those glue laminated stanchions that are holding the church up, and that's something for you to hide behind because those suckers will absorb rifle rounds. So, but normally you would be doing this by moving around. So anyways, once I have cleared, once I've decided that there are no other threats that I have to deal with, you'll notice where my trigger finger is. It's high on the slide, so that if there is another bang, what we do as human beings, man, I'm covering a lot of ground on this video. What we do as human beings when we hear the bang and there's that effect, everyone thinks that we just do this. No, if you're doing this and there's a bang, did all my fingers contract like this? I can't even do it. Did all my fingers contract like this? No. What'd they do? They consolidated while contracting. And if your finger is here and you get a loud enough bang as you're looking for another threat and there's another bang, there is a chance that you could flinch, and in the contraction, in the consolidation and contraction, you could end up with your finger going right into that trigger. So I started doing this. Once I learned that, and that was from Dave Spalding by way of Masad Ayub. Once I learned about the consolidation and contraction, I thought to myself, how did I somehow manage to make it this far in life and not even realize that? Because that's correct. And I started doing this. Some of you can't do this. I get it. I have huge hands. Some of you actually are thinking I'm holding a Glock 19. This is actually a full-size Glock 17. So eventually we are going to actually start this video. Okay, so training on steel. That's the whole point of this video, actually. Why training on steel is so, you know, come here. When you read the information that is part of attending Rogers range, it's Be Fast, Be Accurate, Be the Best by Bill Rogers. One of the many things you learn in that book is that within 300 milliseconds of witnessing the hit, which is a combination of seeing, hearing, and feeling the hit, and the feeling comes from a combination of recoil and the actual physical effect on the target, your brain will actually create a new neural pathway. What we're talking about speed-wise of 300 milliseconds is actually the human eyelid blinking and opening. That's 300 milliseconds. Guys, that is smoking fast when you consider what's actually happening in that time frame. The biochemical, the chemical electric computer that is our brain creates and codes and labels a new neural pathway, and the label is success. And what that boils down to is, we're talking about every trigger pull that you get that successful ding in the motion, your brain goes, oh, I know what that is. I want to repeat that again. That feels good. And I've been out here with my kids, and we'd be up on this hill over here, which from there to over there is roughly 100 yards. We'd be up there with a rifle, and I'd say to my kids, actually, I think it was actually this one, focus in on the middle of that target. I was painted white, of course. And I'd say, squeeze the trigger straight to the rear. And there'd be a miss. And I'd say, practice your breathing, practice your trigger reset, all the things that I've taught my kids. And then I'd say, do it again. And they'd finally get that ding, and I'd say, whatever you just did, do it again. Because remember, I can't be inside of their brain. The moment of success is very subjective. As the instructor, I can't be inside your mind, so I can't see what it is that you're feeling. That's why steel is the best teaching medium. Because within an instant of that ding, your brain is saying, I like that feeling. And by the way, that sound, someone told me the other day, that sound is very close to, I think he said it was C. You know, the funny thing is, I'm a singer, but I never actually learned how to read music. So when someone says, give me a C, you give me a D, I'm like, just play it on the keyboard and I'll reproduce it. So training on steel is the teaching medium, period. I love it. That's why everything I train on out here is steel. And that's why I can take you from 0 to really proficient in about 4 hours or so with a rifle. And in about a day, I can get you from a mess with a handgun to fairly proficient with a handgun. So what I wanted to show you, because the next question that I always get is, well, are you shooting frangible ammunition? And no, I'm not. This is just standard ball ammunition. I think it's Norma from Switzerland. And what I wanted to show you is that if you're at an oblique angle, you can shoot a steel plate, and you'll notice that the rounds are ending up down here in the dirt. This camera's picking it up. The round actually holds the majority of its shape. Because it's glancing off of this target. But if I were to actually, and I'm not going to do it from this range, if I were to shoot it from here with a handgun, with this angle, I'm almost guaranteeing that I'm going to catch something. At the very least, with this target tilted forward, I'm probably going to catch spall in my lower limbs and even potentially in my doober-doo, which I have, and that's no fun. I'm making sure that the target is at an angle, and from that distance of 10 yards, nothing ever makes it past there. Frankly, guys, once you reach 7 yards, there's darn near nothing that hits you. So the point that I'm getting at is this: inside of everything from 7 to 10 and beyond, you're actually fine shooting these types of targets. If you want a real, well, actually, you know what? We'll cover that on another day because I'm making those targets for you guys. Next. Shooting steel is the medium of choice. It is the only way to train, guys. It's the only way to train. Just like every sport out there has a physical and visual feedback, a physical, visual, and auditory feedback. Shooting needs it, and the reason for that is if you fire 10 rounds and you get 2 bullseyes, well, which one of those 10 rounds was it? Was it number 2 or was it number 10? You don't know, because you fired 10 rounds and only got 2 bullseyes, you know, on paper. But when you're shooting steel, every single shot is really obvious, and if you're talking about a 6-inch target from distance, you're gonna know whether you got a hit or whether you got a miss. And this right here, was a hit that I made earlier on the front plate. This is a miss. How do I know that? Even though it's a ding, how do I know that? Because the lollipop didn't swing. So this type of target is giving you the audible and the visual feedback, which is what's necessary. All right, guys, if you have any questions, leave them below. I'll do my best to answer them. As always, God bless you all. Get those guns out and practice. Have a good one. And I bet you're wondering why I've been talking so fast, because the battery's going to die on this camera. Have a good one, guys. You know what? Let's go for a long shot. That's right! I love it. Guys, shooting steel. It's like Pavlov's dog. Bing! Have a good one.